My name is Rouben Brosen. I am company owner or shareholder of Casas Ambiente in Moraira. I run this business basically with my mother, who is the person that set this business up 29 years ago. And I joined 9 years, nearly 10 years. Next month, 10 years ago.
And Moraira, just for the context, that's in the Costa Blanca north, correct?
Correct.
What's the nearby big towns that people might recognize?
Oh, I think probably the most famous one is Benidorm, which is about 25 minutes drive from here.
And is that down south from you? Right?
Correct, that is down. The next big one down would be Alicante. And then going upwards, we've got Gandia and Valencia. On the Costa Blanca, we are probably one of the smallest towns.
And is it a coincidence that in the Costa Blanca north there are many German and Dutch buyers and you're half Dutch and half German? Is that a coincidence?
It is a coincidence at the moment because I think it was not when my parents came here 29 years ago. I think 29 years ago, the skill or the balance was a bit different than it is now. There were still quite a lot of Spanish people in this town, which at the moment you have not that many anymore. But there was a fair amount of English people, actually. It was, I would say, 50% of the population by that time was English. And now I think we're just in a lucky position that there's really a big market for Dutch buyers, especially Dutch buyers at the moment.
So who are the main nationalities that you guys sell to?
Generally, I would say all nationalities. I'm saying generally because when I joined the company 9 years ago, for me, it was very important that even though my mum is Dutch and my dad was German, my view was always to get this into an international company. So we start really early, like the first person we employed when I joined was an English person in order to get the English market in. Because in this town, nowadays, all state agents are going for international market, but nevertheless, I think you split up agents a lot by nationality. So you can fairly easily see what agent comes from what nationality. And my idea was always to try and bring in international public. So we start employing an English person in order to get the proper English in. We then employed a French person in order to get proper French in, and so on. I do the Spanish market because it's probably my strongest language. And then my dad and my mum were doing German and Dutch. Nowadays, the strongest market right now is the Dutch, definitely. And I would say nearly to a point that 80% of our buyers at the moment are Dutch. And the rest is a bit of a split of everything. There's Germans, there is French, there's Belgians, there is English, there's some Swiss. We even get here and there some American Canadians and a little bit of Russian, followed by a little bit of Scandinavian. But I think the Scandinavians are just a touch more to the south than really in Moraira. We actually literally specialize on what is probably from Havea to Kalpe. We do touch a little bit of Altea and Denia, but we do that mainly through collaborators. I feel quite lucky that we're in a position to stay in this region. I can concentrate on my target area. I mean, we are at the moment, including my mom and myself, we are 9 people working or 8 people working. We've got somebody that is, we call him a property finder. That would be the 9th person. And we kept on growing and growing with the intention of growing towards other towns and maybe taking on a little bit more of market. But by the way we've been growing, the sales locally have been growing so much that we don't have any time to concentrate on going any further than maybe really the surrounding towns.
What have been the biggest sort of changes, would you say, in recent years in the market in Moraira?
I think the possibility of buying, and let me explain that. The possibility of buying, what I want to say with that is the way of people come in, take a decision and buy a property. People would come to meet the town, they would come and see a property, start searching, see one property, see 15 properties, then they choose 3. So all that still happens, but then they would probably go back home. They would come again, visit them all again, go back again and come for a third visit. Nowadays, people come and on a first visit, they come and go and buy. The whole process of buying nowadays is different. Meanwhile, back in the days, properties also were a lot cheaper. People came and asked for loans, worked with the banks, worked with any other type of loan agencies. Nowadays, people, especially Dutch people, tend to come with a lot of, like, I think in the UK it's called cash money, even though it goes via the bank. But like the last 2-3 years, I can't really remember taking a lot of clients to the bank in order to get a loan for a property. Most people come, see the property, and they say, okay, we're ready to reserve it, we're ready to buy it, and it all goes fairly quick. When I go out first time with clients and I tell them like the market is crazy because it's burning, and really like look at properties, you should look at properties when you're ready to buy. The first comment you get, yeah, what would you say, because you're an estate agent? So try to make them understand that, like, I have this new sentence that I literally learned the last couple of months: you snooze, you lose. And it is like that. And it's not a estate agent strategy that we're running. It's literally that if you don't take a decision on the property today, probably tomorrow, day after, it'll be gone, because that is the market at the moment. And it's not only my market, it's I think all of the agents in this town are short of properties. So as soon as something nice or halfway good comes out, it is gone in question of days. I think that also has made customers understand that they need to make a quick move, and there's no time to go back, think about it, come back again, see it again, go back home and talk with the grandmother or the grandfather or whatever. And no, now it is, you have to be ready to buy. If you want to buy, come here and reserve the property, because otherwise day after tomorrow it's gone.
And I guess part of the process being faster, would it be right to say, is due in part to the fact that they can do a lot more research remotely now? There's more photos and videos and video calls and stuff like that.
My agency, we work with 360 degrees tours in the properties. We have drone shots of the properties. So basically you see the full property in and out from at home.
How are you finding this year so far?
The year started amazing, like recordly amazing. But it's been like that for the last 2-3 years, that year after year, we're just getting into more and more operations. And last year already, I thought it would not go that way, because last year already we as an agency were blaming personally, we're short of properties instead of short of buyers, but we're short of properties, and it still finished up being an amazing year. So and this year it's basically the same. Property we get in, property we sell, but they're coming in. It's just not the amount of properties we had maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago, where I could say, okay, I can offer you 300 properties on my website. Choose the type of property that you like, and I might have like 15 in that style that I can offer. Now, not. That is not how we're working at the moment. The amount of inquiries that we're getting is incredible at the moment. Like the main challenge is getting properties, especially for an agent like us. We're a bit different in that. We are, I don't know how to say it, and I don't want to offend any, but we're a not aggressive agency. So we don't go and knock on doors on properties that we know that are for sale. We never go and knock any doors. Basically, we get every property through referrals, through our marketing, walk-in customers, and happily or luckily up to now, we're fine with that. I'm not saying I would never do it, because obviously if I get into a position where I have no product anymore to offer my clients, I think, and I see that my office staff is sitting in the office and we have nothing to do, then probably we'll go into that strategy of trying to find properties ourselves outside. But the main challenge at the moment is getting properties in as quick as we could sell them. The second challenge, and that is maybe also a bit rude, and correct me if I'm not, but the second challenge is that I think many people come in here to live. Many people think that being a estate agent or becoming an estate agent is like the most easiest thing in the world, and they just start their own business. And to be honest, in order to get a license or a licensed estate agent in Spain, it's not very difficult. But I think then to follow the rules and regulations that maybe do not officially exist, but at least we have like a codex between the agents that like, I don't know, I would never go to a property that I've seen with another agency. I would not go after having seen it with them and then knock the door and say, hey, may I list this property? That I think these small bits and pieces, that's what all these new agencies or these one-man shows, how I call them, that is probably another challenge, because these people then also bring in like they like to go their own ways. They bring in their own rules and regulations, and it all starts messing up a little bit. Meanwhile, we all agencies that have been here for the last 5 to 10 years, we all kind of respect each other. It's not that we're like all super friends, because it's a business, but you have certain things that you just would not do when you know that tomorrow I might be collaborating with that agent again. And that's maybe my second strongest challenge, to work against that and show a customer, or like say, when I say customer, I mean buyer and seller, because I think both are our customers, and make them explain what they gain with established state agent that has got all studies done, all registries done, offers you a certain type of service, compared to somebody who's just there suddenly with a phone, probably takes the pictures with the phone, will not offer you an office. Not that it's really bad, but I think they make our market very difficult in order to like, here there's a lot of people walking around town saying all state agents are mafia, all state agents are ripping off people, and this happens due to people not working correctly. And that, I think, is a hard at least personally, it's a hard challenge for me when I go out and like hear these things from people on the roads.
If you were to give one piece of advice to potential buyers that are looking to buy in the Moraira area at the moment, what would you tell them?
First, the very first step is I will put my hands into probably one agent. And I wouldn't say us. You can choose any other agent. I would do a proper research online, and because the market here and the way how the markets run and things run is very different, very, very different to any other country. And once you get involved in start searching on portals, websites, you'll find many properties many times repeated, and it's because there is a massive network behind the scenes between agents. And all it does is confuse yourself and the agents when you start like bombing people with like, I want to see that. I would research for a really good agent, a proper agent that can prove he doesn't work for you. And then I will put down all my criteria of what you really are searching for, and let the agent do the work for you, and get him to send you the properties that are actually on the market. Because also that's another factor what we were just talking about. Unfortunately, due to being so many, differently set up agents, and everybody of us sharing properties, a lot of websites are not updated. And on portals, on websites, on social media, you might find daily properties coming out that already are sold since 2 or 3 months. And so what I would do is I will put my hands into a proper professional straight agent, and I will let him search. And then that is also the person where you can raise all your questions to if you start trusting him. Like, what do I have to do legally? What do I have to do financially? How is the process of buying a property? What costs are involved in the property? Plus, once you have that confidence with that agent, this agent will give you like a certain amount of service on the after sales. Like, I cannot talk about other agencies, but in my case, the fact is that I've got in my office, we've got a lawyer working in the office, so you don't need externally search for a lawyer. And so any question that could come up, you can raise directly to that person. And I think it makes it very comfortable if you know that there's a professional on the other side that can tell you exactly what you're expecting. As well as, like, once you buy a property, it doesn't stop there. I mean, you have to change water bills, you have to change electricity bills, tax bills, find a gardener, find a pool man, find builders, find all these things. If you do proper research, I think you're better off as a buyer putting yourself in hands of a professional person to start it all. That would be my advice to do.
Well, Rouben, that has been enlightening and an education. Thank you so much for your time.
Hope you come around soon and see us maybe one day.